Hi everyone. Today we're going to be looking at what is meant by reflecting a graph. Just like an object on a Cartesian plane, a graph can also be reflected. So, in today's subtitle, please put down reflecting a graph. So, in many cases, a graph can typically be flipped across either the x-axis or across the y-axis, or sometimes even both at the same time. Now, symbolically, how can this look like? Well, in most textbooks, you might see the following notation. So if you want to flip the graph across the x-axis, then the confusing part is that you have to switch the signs of all the y values. And for flipping a graph across the y-axis, almost confusingly, you have to switch the signs of all the x-coordinates. Now, the easiest way to see how this works is with a quick example. So, I would like you to put example. I would like you to take a moment to draw the following graph. Go ahead, pause the video and do it now. Let's take a look at what's going to happen if we were to switch the signs of all the y coordinates. So let's start with the following transformation. How about we take all the points and all we want to do is not change the x, but take all the y values and switch their signs. Alright, let's do each coordinate one by one. Let's start with 1 and 4. Well, pretty simple. The 1 and 4 will simply become 1 and minus 4. Let's do the next one, the 2 and 1. Well, very easy again. The 2 and 1 is simply going to transform into 2 and minus 1. And let's take a look at the last point, the 3 and 4. The 3 and 4, another easy transformation, is going to become 3 and minus 4. Now, if you were to draw the graph with the new resulting points, you should get the following sketch. Go ahead, pause the video, and draw it now. As you can see, by changing all the signs of the y values, it caused the original graph to flip across the x-axis. Now, let's take a look at what happens if you were to take the original graph and this time switch all the signs of the x values only. So, the transformation will look like this. All the points x and y are going to be transformed such that the x coordinates change signs, but the y coordinates stay the same. So, let's do all our points one by one. Let's start with the 1 and 4. Well, the 1 and 4 is simply going to become minus 1 and 4. Next, the 2 and 1. Well, the 2 and 1 is simply going to become minus 2 and 1. And our last point, the 3 and 4, that's going to become minus 3 and 4. Now, if you were to correctly draw this graph, what will it look like? It should look something like the following. Go ahead, pause the video and draw it now. As you can see, By switching all the signs of the x values, it causes the original graph to flip across the y-axis. And this is all there is to what is meant by reflecting a graph. Just like any other object on a Cartesian plane, a graph can be reflected.